Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today my guest is Chris King. He is the Executive Vice President of WheelsTV. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian. Great to be here.
Cool. Well, let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the career path that's led you to where you are today with WheelsTV.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Thanks again. It's been an interesting journey. So my background is actually in economic development. So I'm not in the auto space for many, many years. But what's interesting is that I was economic development, helping countries and regions around the world trying to develop their economy by bringing companies to set up remote teams within those countries or those regions. I did a lot for the UK government, did a lot for the City of London, and also I worked and lived overseas, worked in Russia for a number of years, which was an interesting journey in itself. But what's brought me to the auto space is a family business. So my father-in-law, Jim Barasano, who founded WheelsTV, in many ways is a visionary around the automotive space when it comes to video. And so we've been producing, and Jim and the team have been producing in earnest since 2008, video test drives of almost every single car that is on the road today. So it's a journey that's brought me to here as a family business. And I find the automotive space to be intriguing and exciting as well.
Great. Well, let's talk about the video economy. I mean, you guys have a very extensive experience in videos. You know, having created over 6,000 model videos at WheelsTV. Let's discuss the video economy and where dealers are not using video that they should be.
Yeah. So we're trying to change the narrative in many ways. Jim and the team back in the days when they started putting video on the internet and trying to talk about the power of video when it came to helping shoppers make purchase decisions. We had to spend a lot of time at that time talking about how video is up and coming and video is on the rise. And those are phrases for anybody that's watching this program, anyone who's a dealer has heard this incessantly for many, many years. But our way that we're looking at this is that those terms, video is up and coming or video is on the rise, are no longer applicable. They're no longer accurate statements. Today, video plays a dominant role in the way that people discover, the way that they research, and the way they make a purchase around a vehicle. So this massive shift has taken place even before the pandemic, where the ability for a shopper to find and consume content that's going to help them along their journey includes video. And we only have to look at companies like Wayfair and Amazon and Zappos and Walmart, who have a significant investment in the way that they produce videos around content they're selling. So when it comes to dealers, that expectation for video that their shoppers experience in those other e-commerce platforms is not transitioned over to the dealership experience. So we see this as a major gap, and we see this as a way for us to talk about what is the video economy. And when we think about that, we think about that we see there will be two ways for dealers to adapt to this. So dealers that adapt to the change in the way that consumers are looking for this type of content, those dealers will be successful. And those dealers that don't adapt and don't look at the change, we think that they'll fall behind.
Cool. But what do you say to a dealer when you're talking to them about adding video? And let's look at it from the customer's perspective. A dealer says to you, well, I already have photos, I already have a 360 spin. Why do I need video? Like, what does how does a customer experience improve or change from a 360 spin to a video?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and in fact, we often talk about the content that we produce. And let me back up a little bit. Is that so? We have, as you mentioned, this very, very large library. So from in earnest from 2008 to today, so to 2023, we're shooting 2023 model videos now. Is that we've shot a video for almost every single car. So from Acura to Volvo. They're 2-minute reports. They're not advertorial, nor are they critical. So it covers the trims within the model. So this is specifically a model video. So it's not in any way displacing or replacing high-quality photos that a dealer may have on their website, or even if they invest in 360 spins. Those are both very, very effective tools in the merchandising, or even the live walk-around videos. All three of those assets, from a visual content perspective, are super, super critical. But the change that's occurred since the pandemic, and even before that, as we talked a little bit about, is that that's no longer enough. So it's not just high-quality photos that's going to be effective in merchandising that car for sale that's on the lot. It's not 360 spins in addition to the photos, or even the live walk-arounds. All critical, all super helpful, but it is missing the last visual content that they are consuming. And I'll share a stat with you. 70% of everyone that purchased either a new or used car has watched a minimum of 30 minutes of on-the-road video and up to 2 hours. So what's happening is that they go to the dealer's website, they go to the VDP or the SRP, and they engage with the photos, they engage with spins, or they engage with the live walkarounds. But it's no longer enough so that they are then transitioning away, either before they get to the dealer's site or when they're on the dealer's site. And most likely what they're doing is they're going to YouTube to see that car on the road, because the visual assets on the dealer's website is very, very hyper-focused on the car for sale, which it should be. And someone will look at it and say, is this the right color? Does it have the right lines? Is there any imperfections? Because I'm looking at buying that car. So what our message is within the video economy is that now that missing piece is where they can go to right at the dealer's website and watch the video, the product video, because they are going to watch it. Interestingly, we talk a little bit about another tagline. So we have video economy, and we talk a lot about make it your tube, not YouTube. Because if you think about thousands and thousands of shoppers each day are on the dealer's website, they're looking at the photos, they're looking at the spins or the live walkarounds, but they're going to YouTube to watch it. So we say, make it your tube, not YouTube. Give them a model video right there. Also give it on the SRP VDP, but more importantly, give it to the BDC or the internet team or the marketing team to disseminate it on text or by email. So that's a long-winded way of saying that this asset is needed, it's being watched, and there is this kind of gap between what dealers are producing and what the shopper is doing. There's no alignment there right now.
You mentioned a few places where dealers can use the model videos already, but I want to make sure that we cover all the bases so people watching aren't missing any. Can you kind of list all the places dealers should be using model videos?
Yeah. Well, first off, I think that it's important for a dealer to recognize that, as we talked a little bit about, is that this type of content is being watched by shoppers through their discovery phase, to the research phase, and then also to the purchase phase. But there is this mismatch that we talk about it. So maybe we can back up just a little bit as well, is that 98% of the franchise dealers and almost 100% of the independent dealers, so we're talking tens of thousands of dealers, do not have this content at all on their dealership websites. So we find it critical to have it on the SRP, on the VDP, and what we also provide is a landing page, a video player landing page, so that the internet teams, the BDC teams, and the marketing teams can have access to all of our entire library, where they can then share that for interested prospects or even customers in their funnel of trying to convert leads and sales. So they can share it by text, they can share it by email, you can share it on and post it on social platforms. Those are the critical aspects. So SRP, a VDP, a landing page, so that when the dealership serves that video up by email or text or on social, it brings them right back to the dealership website, not to a microsite, not to an offline site, but right to their website. So those are the critical pieces that are places that should be deploying this type of video.
Okay. Well, I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Dealerships are always looking for more leads. We need more leads. We need more leads. When in reality, they have thousands of leads. They're just what they might consider stale. Maybe they're 30 days old, maybe they're 90 days old, maybe they're 120 days old. Yeah. Can you maybe share some best practices on using video to reignite those leads?
Yeah, well, actually, video is one of the highest converters of leads. And actually, we talk a lot about how many dealers look at video when they think about SEO, which is misguided. Now, there's a couple differences between the video content that we produce, which is a model video, which can be deployed onto a dealer's website. And then there's also kind of what we call like bespoke video that is actually video that they produce, that they put on their website that's specific to them, that provides a lot of SEO coverage. Our product doesn't necessarily give you the SEO. And in fact, we often ask our dealers, say, it doesn't matter. Our video is not an SEO tool, it is a conversion tool, because video is the #1 converter when it comes to converting these leads. So I think that when dealers look at the value of video, by sending it out by an email or by text, or to have it right there on the SRP and the VDP, we look at video as kind of as an enticement that drives that emotional response, whether it's on the SRP, VDP, or it's in an email. We have lots of stories from our existing customers who talk about how they use our model videos. It may not be the first asset that they send out to a prospect, or the second one, but it will definitely be the third or the fourth, because one of the challenges from a conversion perspective is engaging that prospect with either, obviously trying to get them on the phone, or if not, using email or texting. How do you get them to respond on that third, fourth, or fifth follow-up over an extended period of time? And video actually becomes that kind of a critical thing, where we have some great stories from dealers that are seeing that when their BDC and internet and salespeople are using our videos in their correspondence, in their text, that they're increasing significantly the conversion of them reaching out and making that personal connection. So video, and sometimes can be SEO, and many times, like in our case, the SEO is not necessarily as valuable as what the conversion can bring to the dealer.
Cool. Well, now I'd like to ask a question that's a little bit more timely. Every dealer in the United States right now is struggling with inventory, and the test drive is where a customer gets emotional and decides that they love the car and they want it in their driveway, and they take it home. Well, if their car's not at the lot and you can't take a test drive, these customers that have never ordered a car in their life are now being forced to order cars that they've not driven. And how can video help to bridge that gap and help to create that emotion and get people excited about buying a car that's not in front of them?
Yeah, it's actually a struggle that we see every day, and it's actually on two sides of the coin. We have low inventory, so for the newer models, and you'll see a lot of stock photos that are up on thousands of dealer websites, franchise websites, where that car has not yet made it to the lot. So a lot of stock photography, where actually our model video then becomes a great placeholder to kind of make that connection to the vehicle. And then conversely, because of the fact that we've been shooting videos of cars, model cars, since 2008, we don't have a video for every single car that is being driven on the road today, but we have approximately 95% coverage. So that's a very, very high. So from Acura to Volvo, 6,000 videos, as you had mentioned. So for the lower funnel on the used cars, we have a video for almost every car that's on the dealer's lot. So whether a dealer has 100 cars on the lot, or with one rooftop, or they have 500 with a couple rooftops, or even 10,000, that will have about 95% coverage for them. So we really take away that pain point. So you don't have the inventory that is on the lot, but we'll be able to provide a video for that, so a newer vehicle. But if you have a lot of, as most dealers do now, they have a lot of inventory on or inventory on the used car, we'll also have that content. And I think what's really interesting is what you talked about is the emotional connection. And also, we actually call it more of an emotional response. Because right now on dealers' websites, we talked a lot about how it's so important to merchandise the vehicle that's on the lot, so that's a big purchase. They want to see what it looks like. They want to see if they can, if the trunk in the car the interior is to what they imagine. But those don't really generate an emotional connection to the vehicle. So these are just really trying to get, is this the right car for me? What lacks is the emotional responses, which full motion video is able to do. Where the way that we shoot the videos, the way that we pan and do the shortcuts, the slow motion, the sound of the engine, the ability for you to imagine, where we bring the car to life, so that the shopper can imagine themselves behind the wheel. And so this type of emotional response that our video generates, which can be easily deployed, super user-friendly, at an affordable price, becomes a conversion tool that's going to elicit an emotional response that takes them from what we call the test drive before the test drive. So we believe that by having our product there, it's going to get that emotional connection to where they can virtually drive the car. But ultimately, the goal is to get that shopper connected to the vehicle, to come into the dealership and get it into an actual test drive. So video test drive before the test drive.
The 2024 Ford Mustang introduces an exhilarating, technologically advanced 7th generation of the long-running pony car. Trims for the Mustang range from the base EcoBoost to the V8-equipped GT and new Performance Series Dark Horse. The Mustang is available in sleek fastback coupe and open-air convertible configurations and features a more sculpted design with sharp edges and a broad stance with pronounced rear haunches. A wide trapezoidal grille flanked by standard tri-bar LED headlamps harkens back to the original 1960s-era Mustang. The GT adds a rear spoiler and quad exhaust outlets, while the Dark Horse gets darkened exterior trim with a MagneRide suspension for optimized comfort and handling performance. The redesigned cabin of the Mustang features a cockpit-style driver-centric layout with a flat-bottom steering wheel and available carbon fiber trim accents, and features 2+2 style seating for 4 passengers with available two-tone leather trim seats with color accent stitching. The standard 12.4-inch digital instrument cluster can be customized to display different animated designs and drive mode-dependent visuals, and creates a seamless curved panoramic display when paired with the optional 13.2-inch center touchscreen. An available competition-ready electronic drift brake mimics the look and feel of a mechanical parking brake handle. The Mustang EcoBoost is powered by a turbocharged 2.3-liter inline 4-cylinder engine, sending 315 horsepower to the rear wheels through a 10-speed automatic transmission. A revised 5-liter V8 now makes 480 horsepower in the GT and 500 horsepower in the Dark Horse, and comes paired with a 6-speed manual transmission with rev match or an available 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy estimates were not available at the time of video production. The standard Ford Co-Pilot 360 Safety Suite includes pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking and pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, and blind spot monitoring with rear cross-traffic alert. The Mustang is backed by a 3-year 36,000-mile basic warranty and a 5-year 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. Reporting on the all-new styling of the Mustang, Gear Patrol wrote, "The Mustang receives new sheet metal with a sharper, more muscular and modern appearance, but it's still more or less the same Mustang in the ways that count, which is what nearly everyone wanted." The 2024 Ford Mustang Coupe and Convertible introduces a striking redesign, boasting advanced technology features and a new high-performance variant of the legendary pony car.
Almost every major company from an e-commerce perspective or a merchandising company is already using video at a significant scale. And 98% of the dealers don't have any type of the car moving on action. Everything is static. So it's important to have that photo of the car. It's important to have that spin or that live walk around video, which is super helpful. But it doesn't get that emotional connection to the car that is really necessary to get them to come into the dealer. So this is the missing gap. Mm-hmm. And so yes, having that emotional response from a video is, I mean, this is why commercials, if you think about the number 1 advertiser in the auto space, and when you're advertising commercials, commercials work. And it brings people by emotion. They don't, OEMs aren't spending millions of dollars to put up static images on TV. They're showing the car in motion. So for a dealer that is thinking, am I doing everything that I can to merchandise this vehicle as effectively as I can? Is there anything that I'm missing that could potentially increase just even a few percentage points of the conversion? And having great photos or the spins or the live walkarounds are great assets, but just by adding an emotional video, a 2-minute video that shows that car, the key features and the key attributes of that vehicle in a way that even the best salesperson on that dealership can't do in that short period of time, it then just really lets that shopper imagine themselves behind that wheel to make that call or to come into the dealership. So yes, emotion is a big role in the way that people make a purchase. But today, I think it's frustrating. I think is that you don't see that type of emotional connection on any dealership's websites.
Let's shift gears and go to the independent dealers. Is video something that provides a massive advantage for a franchise auto dealer, or does it help to level the playing field for an independent? Like where does that kind of fall?
It's interesting because of the history of the company at WheelsTV and how we started producing these videos back from 2008, and there is a difference between I would say today that our core business is within what we call mid-major dealership groups, so anywhere from 3 to 15 rooftops on the franchise side. That's our sweet spot. That's where we see the fastest growth within our company of getting these assets onto their website and into the hands of their BDC sales team and marketing team. But the biggest opportunity that we see is because of the value of our library is that it's the independents, and it's from we're trying to understand, is it 30,000 or 40,000 of these independents? They could have 10 cars on the lot, or 15 or 30 or 50 or 100 cars on the lot. and they're all at a disadvantage from the likes of well-funded franchise who have the kind of the capital to deploy a lot of these fancy technologies, whether it's the spin or the live walk around or even our model videos. But actually, our model videos are super affordable because of the fact that we've been making them so long that we have this inventory and it can be used. I think the greatest growth for us is going to be within the independents, who at an affordable price, they can give a really super rich visual showroom experience on their SRP and VDP at an affordable price. It can be deployed easily, so don't have to pick up a camera. Within minutes, not hours or days, you can get this type of content onto an independent's website, and you can get it into the hands of their marketing, BDC, and sales team to be able to share this content. They are struggling with this content. And there's this mismatch too, is where we're trying to, have this kind of a communication with the independents that this technology, this solution exists, and it could add significant value to their conversions and to their sales.
Was there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience today, Chris?
No, I think that when we look at the merchandising of cars today, is that video can play a critical role in the way that it can help with conversion. So I think that for dealers that are out there that are thinking, is there anything else that I can be doing to increase conversions, then I think we would be a solution for them to be able to help with that by giving the content that their shoppers are already looking at. They're just not looking at it on a dealer's website. So by giving them that access to that content on their website, it's going to definitely increase conversions.
Yep. Well, I mean, I guess there's definitely the danger if you go to YouTube, your competition could have ads on YouTube, and so there's definitely a danger of sending somebody somewhere else to consume the content. If you can keep them in your own home, it's a lot safer. You don't risk them seeing a lower lease payment or something, from a company.
I want to be clear too, is that we're big fans of YouTube, and YouTube has a role, and a lot of dealers are using YouTube and very effectively. But when it comes to that low funnel shopper that's on an SRP or VDP, or that you're engaging with, the last thing you want to be doing is sending them to YouTube, because you're absolutely right. A lot of dealers now, as you know, can actually buy ads on a competitive dealer's a video YouTube channel. So you would be able to run an ad and take that customer away. And when someone's on your website, you spend all of this money, thousands of dollars to bring them there. You want to make sure that you give them the content and make it as frictionless as possible. It's interesting. There's another stat that I can share with you, is that arguably the number one auto-related search term within YouTube is test drive. And if you think about that, that's what shoppers are looking for. So they go to the dealer's website, they look at the car, see if it's got all of the right lines and color, and it looks like it's a good fit for them. They're still going to go to YouTube or to Motor Trend or to an OEM to look for that content. Dealers struggle with access to content that's going to control that journey to keep it right within the dealer, so that you can deploy it on the website, but you can also you don't want to be sending a video out to YouTube to a shopper who says, can you tell me more about this model, and share a video that takes them to YouTube. YouTube has a role, but in the low funnel, that video should be in the control of the dealer in sharing it with the prospect.
Yep. Well, I mean, in fact, this video, probably half of you that are watching this through a YouTube link right now. So YouTube definitely has a place.
It definitely has a place. But we do see YouTube being used quite often on dealers' websites. I would be a little bit cautious that we haven't seen too many cases on the SRP and the BDP, but those are cautionary places to put, because you don't want to be taking them away from the site. And the reality is that we talk about having the world's largest model video library. It's a pretty impressive kind of stat. But the reality is this content exists. There are thousands of dealers out there that struggle every day with trying to get this type of content. And so I think my thanks to AutoSuccess for giving us the opportunity to get this message out, talk about the video economy, talk about YouTube versus YouTube, and talk about this shift of what's happening within shoppers, and then have an alignment, because we have a solution. It can be effectively deployed, super user friendly, and at a very affordable price that's going to move the needle for dealers.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Ren. Appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest was Chris King with Wheels TV. We hope to see you again soon. This episode is Over the Curb and Burning Gas.